signal hunt again today. Searching on the hydrogen line, that's a yellow line at the top of the screen. Where's my music? There we go. Searching the hydrogen line there at the top of the screen, the channel on the radio dial that scientists theorise we're most likely to hear the hello. Is anybody else out there message? Should we get ourselves live across everywhere else as well? Oh, well, it's time. We're coming up to 9 p.m, so it's going to be a little bit later, I think, over the next week. We're going to try and do 9 till 11 p.m. UK time. So let's get all of these rolling. Yes, there's another live alien radio signal hunt tonight, and so far we've got quite a large signal over there. But let's see what happens as the night goes on. Carl's in already. You are straight off the bat there, Carl. How are you doing tonight, guys? If you're joining us for the first time, we've got an unstable internet connection. That's what. Hold on, let's make sure everything else is disconnected. If you're joining us for the first time, we're doing a live alien radio signal hunt tonight, searching on the hydrogen line. That's the yellow line at the top of the screen, and there's the channel on the radio dial where the scientists theorise you're most likely to hear the hello. Is anybody else out there? Message, how are we all doing there? Good, I'm glad. Yeah, we are all good. Sheps is in as well there. Tickers too, and Raf, how are we doing? So sadly, the clouds are in the way today, but we're going to be doing another alien radio signal hunt. What stars? Oh, we've just about still got Difna, a star 96.3 light years away from us. That is still in range of our dish right now, so if we do get a signal, we'll get a nice clear line right at the top of the screen there. Where's my cursor gone so I can actually see? There we go. Yeah, we'll get a nice signal coming in right at the top of the screen. How is everyone's all weekend gone? Sadly, we're at the end of it, but hey-ho. Hopefully the week will pass quick enough there. So yeah, doing a live alien radio signal hunt today. There is. Finally getting all my buttons set up. Sorry, guys. 2 seconds. Yeah, so as the Earth rotates, our dish will sweep across the sky, hopefully passing over a star that has a planet that's inhabited by life. And if it is, we will get that signal on the screen there for between 30 and 90 seconds. That is how long it'll take for that, with the Earth's rotation there, to sweep on, over and off a target. So fingers crossed, we'll get a nice clear line there at the top of the screen. Nice clear signal coming in. The little red box that you see popping up in the middle there, that is the micro signal analysis. So it's taking those live signals that you can see displayed across all those frequencies there, and it is looking in amongst all of that background noise there. Is there any faint clue of a signal? Just fragments of that may be getting lost, because these distances are so vast there. But the time a signal might reach us from one of these far away stars, it'll probably be very quiet, and it might get lost in amongst all the noise. So we're checking from that front as well. But yeah, so we're going to be doing this, I think, for the next couple of hours, see what we get. Laura's in there, Richard's in, Tickers as well, Anthony, Big Bear. How is everyone doing tonight? Where are you all joining us from? So we're coming to you live from Wiltshire once again, right in the heart of crop circle country. So when we're not doing this, we do something UFO every night. So it's either this, the live alien radio signal hunt, or if the skies are clear in our favours, we do a live UFO UAP skywatcher there. There's some footage, see all the wonderful things flying around in the night sky there. So make sure you're following us. You can join us on that. We are due for a couple of clear nights sky watching this week, so fingers crossed we won't have to wait too long. Potentially Tuesday, potentially if the weather plays ball. Who have we got coming in there as well? Zero and Life's Hole. How are we doing tonight? Harko's in. Good to see ya. So yeah, we're doing the live alien radio signal hunt. Now, over the years, there have been a number of interesting candidate signals come through. Most notably, the WOW signal. That's the main one, the one that everybody knows there. And no wonder, it's a brilliant signal. All of the hallmarks of an intelligent signal, not from this Earth. But it's not the only one, not by far there. Harko, how you doing there? And Tank as well, good to see you in. Yeah, there have been a number over the years. So the WOW signal, the most noticeable. But, there have been some very, very interesting ones of late. 2017, 2018, 2019 was a period when we were apparently potentially receiving signals from our closest neighbour there, which would be Proxima Centauri. So that's very interesting. A little bit nerve-wracking. The idea that our closest stellar neighbour may have a life at a similar technological stage there is quite interesting there. It's cold, Chepsy, on the campsite. It's night. How is it where everyone? It's a little bit chilly here, so actually for you guys that must be pretty damn cold. Jim, DJ's in as well, and user 17. How are we all doing tonight? So do say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're all joining us from tonight. We're doing a live alien radio signal hunt once again tonight. Searching on the channel on the radio dial, the frequency that scientists theorise we're most likely to hear the hello is anybody else out there message. So we're not particularly searching for ET talking to ET, the signals that they may be sending off between their craft, their interstellar delivery orders. No, that could be on any frequency, any channel on the dial there, and it might not even be via radio. We're purposely listening out for that very particular type of signal there. Which is reaching out to other civilizations across the universe, letting them know you're here, and is anybody else out there. We, as a species, sent that signal once, and that was in the early 1970s there. We sent it from our most powerful radio transmitter there, the Arecibo telescope. And but we only sent that signal once. And user 74, thank you for the share there. Do appreciate that. All of those likes and those shares, guys, you tapping away helps us reach more and more like-minded people, and the more open-minded, intelligent people like yourselves that we can reach there. The more eyes and minds on the phenomena, the better. So the more we can all piece this puzzle together. There, Nemo's in as well. Daffy, Tick-Tick's in. Good to see you guys. How was your weekend? And definitely cold on the campsite in the motorhome. The heater fan on full blast. But you roll on the house purchase. I bet you're very keen to get that house sorted. Although it will be a bit of a struggle, won't it, Tickers, to give up the freedom of your extended holiday there. Alan thinks you're going to miss the freedom there. You're not going to enjoy being shackled down under those four walls. And Tank, how are you doing there? Do you think a light or a sound is better for communication? It's a good question. I think so. Sound probably not, because that travels slower than light, but light and radio waves, they travel at the same speed, the speed of light there. So they have their pluses and minuses, but for speed, they're kind of on par there. Sometimes light can travel, might be able to encode a bit more data in it, as we know with fibre optics and things like that. I don't know, maybe they're also using some sort of quantum property there. We're just starting to scratch the surface of the quantum world. And maybe, quantum tunneling is one of these areas that could provide instant communications across the vastness of space there. So maybe they're using something like that, or something we can't even conceive of there, but it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Honestly, I think anybody's guess, with these technologies there. If a holiday was in a box on an island in the middle of the North Sea, it's an adventure, that's what it is. How are we doing, Arthur? Good to see you. Thank you for the like there. Is the moon, and DJ, thank you for the share. Is the moon out? So it is, but it is fully behind the clouds, sadly. I did just check before we went on, so we can kind of just see some bright clouds, sadly. But if it's up, it'll probably be up tomorrow. So if we just get a little patch of thinner clouds, maybe we can do a moon watch earlier on in the week there. So that might be a potential for tomorrow. We are looking at some clear skies a few nights of this week coming up. So fingers crossed we can all do that. Where are we all checking in from tonight? Other Paul's in there, Daffy Von as well. Good to see you all in tonight. Yeah, so we're going to be searching, we're going to be listening out for those potential alien radio signals. So at the top of the screen there, where's my cursor? There it is. This is the live radio signals coming in across all these different channels. All of these are different channels on the old radio dial there, like the ones you tune into in your car, but really far down the other end of the radio spectrum there. And so these waves, these are all coming in across all those different channels, but this yellow line here is the one that we are really interested in here, because this is the channel on the radio dial there that scientists theorize are most likely to hear those messages. We've had messages in the past come through, or potential messages I should say, in the past come through on this frequency band there. A Up is in. How are we doing there? And Daniel, thank you for the heart, that's very kind. Where are you joining us from tonight, Daniel? there. So we've had signals, potential signal candidates come through on this line before there, but also this is where we would expect that signal to be coming in from. This is the frequency that hydrogen gas in the universe naturally emits a radio signal, and because it's the most prevalent element there, it's absolutely abundant everywhere. It's very useful for radio astronomy. You're always going to be learning about the universe and what is going on by listening and observing this frequency range here. It tells you so much about the universe, and because we know this, and our scientists are always going to be monitoring this line regardless of the technology that we may be using, they're always going to be monitoring this in radio. This is why it's theorized that if you want to have a message heard by somebody that's out there, you would put your message on this frequency here, because again they're going to be observing this just like our scientists as well there, and that is why we're listening to it. We want to hear a repeat of some of those awesome potential signals there. Evening A up, good to see you in as well there. And Daniel, thank you for the like there. And 3i Atlas, good question. So it's quieted down a bit, hasn't it, all the buzz around 3i Atlas, but it's a very interesting object. So I do lean ever so slightly towards it being a fancy, like, organic object there, like maybe a fancy comet, maybe something a little bit weirder there, something from the interstellar medium there, but not necessarily alien. Though saying that, it is a very interesting object, and it's not quite clear when the scientists want to put it in that box of a comet. It doesn't want to fit, does it there? So I mean, I mainly lean that way, because in the absence of clear obvious evidence of alien and technology there, then that is the default, I think, is having to go to organic. But it's not a very hard-held belief, and it has done some interesting things. I don't think it's quite interesting enough. But how do you feel on that one? I think it's quite a mixed one within our community. Some people are really like, no, this is it, this is definitely alien, and then everybody else is like, not quite sure yet as well. Amanda Panda is in. How are you doing tonight there? Me scroll through. And Joseph, how are we doing? 3i. So there's just general updates and stuff, but you know, it's doing a little bit odd on this here, a little bit of on this there, but nothing too major that I have seen at the minute there. And what's your view on the Black Knight there? Diablo, good to have you in. Where are you joining us from tonight? Guys, if you're new here, do say hello in the chat. Ask away, we love the questions. So I don't know anything specifically to lock down the Black Knight as a confirmation to say it's definitely there or definitely not. But what I do know is it does fit the logical box here. So we've thought about this before, haven't we? That if we had, we're bordering on potentially having the technology to send probes interstellar to other solar systems. If we knew of a star that had a planet potentially with life around it, we would want to put a probe in orbit there. And I don't even think he's a scientist, I think he's an electro engineer or something there. Bracewell, his name was. So he theorized the best way to do this, to be able to communicate with a potential civilization that you know nothing about, you don't know their language, you don't necessarily know their technological advancement level there. The best way to communicate would be to repeat their signals back to them. So you're assuming they've met the minimum threshold there for radio technology. So not knowing their language or anything, what would you do? You just repeat that message back. And we kind of do this, don't we, when we go to the zoo. You see the monkeys in the enclosure there. You try and mimic their behavior, just kind of get their attention to show the connection. And the idea of this Bracewell probe, you put it in orbit around another planet there, and then as soon as they get to that technological level of radio there, they send a signal out, you just send it back. And that in of itself is enough to say, look, hey, there's an intelligence here, and get that conversation going. So we immediately think it fits that level of plausibility, and there have been some visual sightings, and there are loads of things in our Earth's orbit there that we don't know what they are or where they came from. So there's definitely candidates for it, but pushing a little bit further outside of low Earth orbit there, where our communication satellites live and where these objects are, there's a phenomena in radio called long delay echoes. And what happens in radio, you send a signal out, and sometimes the ionosphere, which, you know, sort of the atmosphere there, it can bounce that signal back to you there. So we get these normal echoes, you know, at sort of the timing of the reply, the echo on that is whatever the speed of light is. So it's a fraction of a second, takes the time for it to be reflected around the Earth and back to the sender there. So that's a normal echo. But we get these ones called long delay echoes there, and it's a phenomena where they send out their message as a little ham radio operator or whatever, and about 7 seconds later, they get their message back. So there's a long echo there, and we don't know anything really that is 3.5 seconds at the speed of light that way and 3.5 seconds back. There shouldn't really be anything in the way to reflect that signal back to us there. It's definitely much further than our atmosphere. But do you know what is at about 3.5 seconds at the speed of light away from the Earth? Something called Lagrange points. Now, they are where the Earth's and the Moon's gravity, sometimes the Sun's gravity there, they all cancel each other out. So it's like a parking spot. And the James Webb telescope is in one, just sits up there. Everything else otherwise is in motion, it's in orbit. It's flying around up there, and you have to expel energy there to stop it eventually coming back and losing its position, re-entering to its nearest, whatever the object is it's orbiting. But these Lagrange points are a little bit different. The gravity cancels it out there, so it's a bit of a parking spot. So if you wanted to put a probe around a planet, maybe somebody saw Earth 1 billion years ago and went, hey, this has got the early stages of life, there's some biosignatures here, let's put a probe in orbit around there, the most efficient orbit, a Lagrange point, and then when they get to that technological advancement there, that they have radio technology, then we just send that signal back, and maybe they can then see that message and do some extra research on that. So yeah, maybe that is what's happened there. Thank you for the roses, Daniel. Do appreciate that. It all goes back into the stream. That's a brilliant question there. And A-Up has quietened down Free Eye Atlas, although there are some interesting articles on Discord. You're 100% right there, A-Up. So do guys join our Discord there. We've got a whole section for Free Eye Atlas there, and all of the latest news is put in there by our community, along with the latest UFO news generally in the interesting things section. But my favourite is the personal experiences section, where you guys are putting your own first-hand accounts with the phenomena in there, images and videos too. You can add yours or just read through them and join it there. And Sidewinder, how you doing there? What does the comet have any gold? So I don't think there's going to be a gold makeup in 3i Atlas particularly there. But we do know of some of the elements that's come through there. What was the metal? It was high in one metal, or wasn't it? But you're right in the sense that all those objects up there do have quite high metal contents there, quite valuable. And we're on the cusp there where the cost to access some of those might well be worth starting to send people up there to get them. And Daniel again, have you noticed that the orbs position themselves and coordinate? Oh, my little screen is scrolling away from me. Oh, where are we there? Have you noticed that the orbs position themselves and coordinate as they communicate? I've heard a little bit around this in relation to, I can't remember what's his name, put the theory together of the sphere network, talking about their literal positional behaviour there as they communicate. So it's also I've heard a little bit on at the minute, but it's very, very fascinating there. So I know London, love it. You're not too far down the road from us. Guys, if you are joining us for the first time, we're having a bit of a chat, but we're also doing a live alien radio signal hunt. Whilst we're here, as the Earth rotates, our dish will sweep across the sky, and hopefully we'll be picking up those potential signals from interstellar neighbours out there. So do give us a follow. We do this basically every night. If it's clear though, we do get the camera out. We do a live UFO, UAP, a skywatch here, seeing the weird and wonderful in the night sky there. I'm from Germany, love it, and here is exactly the same as you, orbs, or as UOP. Exactly, I think you've got quite a lot of activity over your way at the minute there. Definitely, I know continental Europe is having quite a lot of sightings at the minute, isn't it? Orbs and stuff. It's a little bit quieter for us over here, sadly. What's the view on the ground, and welcome aboard? What's the activity like locally there? And Diablo, your thoughts on the Majestic 12 and the real Men in Black. So, Majestic 12, interesting organisation. I do theorise that either it or something very close to it was/is real. Maybe it's advanced a little bit beyond that and developed. As things grow, organisations do tend to adapt and go with the times, don't they? But I do think Majestic 12, it does fit if you look back, and the Majestic 12 is basically the organisation that's theorised to be running the UFO, UAP, secrecy and the reverse engineering programs established just after the Second World War in Roswell, there to handle it after all those crashes happened. We did a deep dive the other week, didn't we, on our Patreon for that one, looking into the Majestic 12, reading through the proposed leaked documents there. That was a really, really good read through, and if you want to listen to the replay on that one, the video for that one, or join us for our next deep dive, which will be this Friday over on Patreon at 11 PM UK time, you can use the link in our bio and you'll get the whole month for free, so you can join us for those ones. And Grandad as well, thank you for the likes there, appreciate that, guys. It is those likes and those shares that help us reach more and more like-minded people there like yourselves, getting more eyes and minds on the phenomena, the better, the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. And Kate, how are you doing there? Thank you for the shares there. Let me scroll through there. And hey up, watched an interesting documentary on the Greys being humans living underground. That is an angle on the Greys I haven't heard, actually. So do you mean like that they divided from us, they diverged from humans and went to live underground for a while? Is that it? Or is that because we've covered, haven't we, the Greys potentially being us from the future? We've also covered, and we will be covering again this Friday on this Friday's Deep Dive, the Greys potentially being biological robots there. And Tick Tick, we are being observed and we're surveyed and observed. There we go. This thing has come from interstellar space, an accurate projectile. So yeah, the actual direction, its course through our atlas's course through the solar system is very, very suspect, isn't it? There, the chances of a random object coming in and coming that close to 3 of the major bodies in the solar system is a little bit too perfect, isn't it? There, it's a little bit sus. And Marcus, hello, thank you for feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks guys.
That's his first snack of the night there. Thank you very much there. You know yourself, Diablo. I know very little, but what I do know is that you guys will know your stuff more than me, and that's how we all learn. This is what I love about this this platform, is that we all come in, people will ask these brilliant questions, and then everybody else will come in with the answers, and it's a chance for me to learn. And there we go. Sorry guys, the signal keeps dropping out. Hopefully all that won't be too bad. Yeah, but we'll get to meet people that do know these things. They not only have interesting questions, but they'll have the interesting knowledge there. So that's why we say together we'll all understand this picture a little bit better, so we like that. There, good to see you, Marcus. And Tick Tick, it's doing things that would be expected from calculated guidance. So this is the thing, that path, that trajectory through it. And I think somebody said yesterday actually that it's now on there's been an adjustment in its course that was again really another coincidental alignment. It was really, really interesting. So for me, it's not displayed like obvious. Like I think there's still the realms of chance for that sort of stuff, and I've got quite a high bar, but it's again like I would not be surprised if all of a sudden it did do something that you go, nah, 100% this cannot be natural. I wouldn't be surprised anymore. And that edge is getting slowly lowered every time we hear a little bit more information on it there. So I love that one. And DJ still here and just listening as it's raining. I'm out with the dogs. We'll say hello to the pooches from me and Alan there, DJ. Don't forget those poopecks, yeah. And they are, 13,000 years ago, the species split, and climate issues, they went underground to survive. Now, 13,000 years ago is very interesting, isn't it? That is the Younger Dryas period, isn't it? Is it the end, the rather dramatic end to the last ice age there? So, lots of potential upheaval here on Earth. And maybe, they went underground. So I've not heard that theory before. I love that one. Up there. Paul's in the house as well. Right, I've been neglecting the tubes. Sorry, guys. Let me check in and see where you all are. Oh, my God. There's so many messages. Sorry, guys. I did not catch up there. Where are we? And Xena as well. Lovely bunch of humans. How are you doing, Xena? Good to see you in there. I did see they did some experiment transporting electrons or protons instantly. Yeah, there is something, isn't it, about the quantum tunneling I heard recently. There is an experiment where, it just goes. There's no delay. They're point A to point B. It's absolutely trying to get my head around it, though. This is a German scientist that's doing it there as well. Currently eating Space Raiders pickled onion crisps there. The little Allen-shaped crisps. And, or chips for the Americans there. Centauri, which stars are there? Oh, so you've got Proxima Centauri, haven't you? You've got Alpha Centauri, and then you've got... Is it Proxima and Proxima b? Or is Proxima b the planet in orbit? I can't remember now, though. But they're our closest neighbours. Our stellar neighbours. But sadly on the southern hemispheres, we can't point any of our equipment to them. We're in the northern hemisphere, which is very frustrating there. And let me scroll through. I thought we were talking about 3i, I think, earlier for that one there. Oh, what is it, Raf, about McDonald's forgetting dips? When we were in Southend, no matter which McDonald's you ordered from, we had a few locally, they would chronically, I mean every single time without fail, forget to the dips, even if you ordered extra and it was on the arguments were had with the management there. They must do it on purpose. Had a huge local gammon steak. That sounds a lovely tickers there. Where are we? Sam, have you looked more into the psionics thing? I don't know, even if you can. So, it's on the list. It's on the list. But you know, like, this is one of those areas that I don't even have a rough foundation in. I've got to go right back to basics with it. So I'm eyeing up a nice clear weekend where I can just kind of really do a deep dive and get up to scratch. But we do want to understand that more. So I've covered a lot. I've seen all the stuff that's that's recently sort of been in sort of the mainstream UFO world around that, but trying to get a good grasp on it, trying to get an understanding on how it might connect and how some more of the physical side of these things, because not everything, in fact I'd say most of it, isn't mutually exclusive. You know, one can definitely explain the other in the UFO or UAP world, but there are certain areas which I do think strongly are happening, but then it kind of counteracts a lot of the psionic conversation there. So I'm trying to muddle through an understanding in my head for those there. Oh, let me scroll up here as well. Oh God, it's jumping ahead on me. You got some barbecue sauce. You're all right then there. Luckily I've eaten tonight, so I'm not too hungry there. Not just that, this planet and its biology is being guarded. So I've heard this theory, and it might make sense. I've definitely... You've got the zoo hypothesis, haven't you? And then you've got like the prison planet hypothesis as another angle. That, you know, which one? You know, are the guards keeping us in or keeping somebody else out? You know, that does tie in with the sphere network, doesn't it? We have paintings with the same system. Honestly, you go back into history and there is so much associated with all this there. Just random as usual, is it? There. Bill Scotsman, how are we doing, Bill? Good to see you in there. And exactly. Illuminati confirmed with the dips. So what's going on the tubes? Me too, but I know sound is part of the discoveries. It could, well, is it psionic? Not psionic patterns. I always forget the name of it. There's an interesting phenomena with sound that I always got. You know, when you get a gut feeling that it's connected, but I can't articulate it yet. There. It doesn't have to be that elegant. I need a rough model in my head, or I just can't understand something until I've got a visual breakdown. I just got nowhere to hang the information, so I have to do it there. Right, where are we? Back on the TikToks? We are being surveyed and observed. This thing has come from interstellar space. An accurate projection. Oh, we did that one, didn't we? Yeah. And Kate as well, thank you for feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks guys.
Have I been missing? Oh god, I'm 44 messages behind over there, sorry guys. Marcus as well, Punisher.
Thank you for the alien pets, guys.
Thank you for all the gifts, guys, appreciate that. It all goes back into the stream. If you are just joining us, we're doing a live UFO, UAP, skywatch. No, we're not, that was last night. We're doing a live alien radio signal hunt tonight. We're searching the galaxy, hoping to hear ET say hello. Give me a second, and I'm a few messages behind. Let me catch up there. God, actually, I'm quite a few messages behind. But I will get through all of them. If you give me a second. Right, where are we? Sorry, I'm scrolling up now. TikTok always loses my place in the chat. Evening, Marcus there. No, I've done those ones. Where are we there? And as Ayab says there, don't forget to like and share. We do appreciate that. All those likes and shares, they help us reach more and more like-minded people there like yourselves, getting more eyes and minds on the phenomena, so we can all piece this puzzle together there. And if you've claimed the coins there, thank Marcus for putting those in. And then tick, something or nothing will happen when it reaches Jupiter. Not sure if there's still a probe there. So there is the probes around Jupiter. There's a few on there in orbit around there, which will have the opportunity to potentially capture something. But you're right there. It'll either be something or nothing. And what I worry about, I say worry, don't worry, but where I think, sadly, what's going to happen is we are, through Atlas, we'll leave our solar system, and it will do a load of interesting things as it has been doing, but not enough to confirm either way. And we're going to be left with lots of questions, but the scientific community will be like, no, that's enough for us. Asteroid or comet, sorry. That we're going to be left in that grey area there. And Carl, thank you for feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks guys.
Paul, thank you for the likes there. You've lost the heart like button tickers. They've taken it away from you. Can't be trusted there. I think they crashed it into Jupiter. I knew they were planning on. There was one. I can't remember what is it? Is it the? Oh, there was one of the Jupiter probes that they were hoping, weren't they? They might actually be able to send off because it's coming towards the end of its life, and they were only going to crash it into Jupiter anyway at the end of its life. There. And they were hoping to send that off to maybe rendezvous a little bit with 3i and get some more data, but apparently the engines aren't up to scratch, so they probably will still crash it in there. But I think it's still just about hanging on. I think it was the early part of next year, maybe February, they were due to send it into on its last little trip there. Oh, bloody thing. Sorry guys, it's jumped ahead on me. They were referencing evidence in the Sumerian tablets. Again, it's all back, isn't it, in those ancient cultures? I think we need to go back and what's happened is we've looked to the past, haven't we? And we've got ourselves a little functional understanding of what went on. Oh, lots of people with their sticks and stones just about surviving, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think it's a good explanation. I think there's far too many questions left there. Eating Alan's head. It's a bit cruel, isn't it, really, because the Space Raiders there. And Marcus.
Nom nom nom, thanks guys.
Feeding Alan there. They're trained to forget, yes. Nice clear weekend. What's one of those? I don't think we've had one of them in a very, very long time. But there should be a few clear days ahead of us this week coming up. Hopefully, the weather plays ball, so we might be able to get a skywatch in there. B, hello.
Thank you for the alien pets.
Just seeing you come up there. I'm still a few messages behind. Let me scroll down there. It's just massive. Who was the best doctor there? Punisher's in. Good to see you, matey. So I'm only just getting to the messages now. Lee Scott as well. Thank you for the likes, guys. Haven't been in for it. No worries, Punisher. It's always good to see you when you're about, but sometimes life gets in the way, and sometimes you have a better offer. But it's always good to see you when you're about. Hope the world has been treating you well. What have you been up to? Marcus loving the stickers. There, Tick. VR is going to be the next big thing. Imagine in someone's live, but you all sit in the same room, man. I mean, just think of how much being connected as we are have changed everything. I haven't really played with VR yet, and I want to. But I've also got absolutely rubbish balance, and I do hear if VR will throw things off. But I would love to play that. Do the stream in VR. We'll have Alan in there with us. And Jeff, well, thank you for the follow, matey. Where are you joining us from tonight? And if you're not following us already, we do this basically every night. So say hello in the chat, let us know where you're watching from. But most importantly, give us a follow so you get those notifications when we go live. If it's cloudy, we do this, the alien radio signal hunt. If it's clear, we're based in Wiltshire, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country. And there we go, there's some footage of our skywatch where we look for the UFOs, UAP flying around in the night sky there. Or if the moon is up full, we see all the craters, all the details there, and talk about how weird the moon is. Yeah, join us on our quest for more answers there. Our tickets is off in a minute. You got an early start. It's a bit late for you guys this stream, but thank you for joining us. Alan has missed you there. Need to do Phasma in VR. Can you imagine me in VR doing Phasma? Like, I wouldn't last 10 minutes, would I? The jumping out on that. Steam Machine VR. I mean, yeah, I'll give you that. That does look very, very cool. I'm sure I haven't missed anyone. Has it jumped ahead on me? Let me scroll up a bit. Sorry, guys. No, okay, I think I have actually caught up with the chat there. Sorry, guys. It took me a minute to get on top, but I haven't. Over on the tubes. Where are we? Let's scroll up here. Just a system here to guard the biology of Earth. Yeah, but I'm a sucker. I mean, quite possibly. And some of these things are going to be well above my cognitive capacity to understand. But I can't not try. Like, always the question is why? Why? If we get one bit of answer, then I want to know why for the next bit there. So I need to know. Not that I may be able to understand it, but totally, like, why? Who is concerned? Why are they worried about, is Earth special? What's the deal? There's so many more questions for every answer you get there, isn't it? There is a broadcast sound frequency, they say, that interrupts UAPs. I've heard interrupts them, and I've heard, like dog whistle there for signalling them. Sometimes you can encourage them to come in, and this is along the lines that it may be some sort of automated process. They are that sort of automated response, so you can kind of trick them, in a sense, to coming and showing up. I'd love to know what their frequency is, though. They are definitely there, tickers. Please feed Alan, people. It's crucial. It is. Otherwise, he'll try and eat me. So, do we think the Black Knight, this is Raf, so do we think the Black Knight is a thermal sheet, or whatever it was that they said it was, or are we being watched there? So that was one of the excuses, because there's a really good image, isn't there, of the Black Knight, apparently taken during one of the shuttle missions, and you can kind of see it out there in the distance, over the Earth there, this weird sort of shape, and the excuse was, well, that was a thermal blanket that was on, I think, one of the satellites, or whatever it was they were launching during that mission, and apparently it got let go, it flew away basically during that mission there, and that was it flying off into the distance there, taking the shot. And I mean, with the shape of it, it could well be, that could be a reasonable explanation for that shot. But I think there's got to be something going on. Like, what is up with my internet tonight, guys? How is it for you guys over on the tubes? Is my internet still there? Sorry, guys, if the internet was cutting out for you there. So, yeah, like, I think even if that particular image is of a thermal blanket there, I think there has got to be, or at least there has been at some point in our Earth's history, a probe. I think life has got to be so common out there. And obviously, given the age of the Earth and our solar system, we're not that old in the scheme of things. So the chances are other people would have had come and have a look. In my understanding of these things. So I do think we're going to find something at some point. Somebody has been here, or might still be here, might still be watching us there. What do you guys think on that one? I'll catch you later, tickers and chapsies. And Bill, where's Alan tonight? Alan's here. He only comes out, though, for treats. He's a sucker. He's a right diva there. How the hell did humanity make the first pyramid perfect but never again? Honestly, this is one of the questions, isn't it? It's you look at the pyramids, so the main ones that we know, the Giza pyramids, you've got the three up there. The Great Pyramid, the Menkaure Pyramid, and I never forget the other one. But whatever, the three pyramids, they are absolutely stunning and perfect, solid stone constructions there. But the later ones, the ones that were built after, a lot of them were mud brick. Most of them haven't survived. They've all fallen down. They were of a much lesser quality. So, things don't normally work like this. It's normally, you get better and you go on the curve there. So what is that about? It's definitely a question that I think needs to be answered properly there. You just found that out this week. Yeah, it's one of those. There's a lot of little things about Egypt like that. Are you sure, lads? Are you sure there? The Hermetic Order. I've heard of that. I've heard of it in a name there. And Marcus, thank you for reading it.
Guys.
And hey up there, thank you for the little Alan buddy there. He likes that. Where are I? Well, I'll catch you later, Tickers and Shepsy there. Thank you for joining us. Where is oh no. The documentary on the Greys was Who Are They on Amazon. I'll have to check that one out because I haven't heard that angle. That this. I've heard generally that there might be sort of a parallel species, this divergence of humanity, but I hadn't heard it may have been the Greys. That's very interesting there. The frequency is very level today. It does actually seem. I mean, other than the spike, which seems to be as pronounced as yesterday, I think. But yeah, that general background noise there has quietened down a little bit there. And Dirk, how are we doing now? We've seen anything? Not on the radio side of things. We haven't got any signals yet, Dirk. But it's only a matter of time. The longer we do this, our statistical odds, our chances of detecting things do go up. But hopefully we will have a couple of skywatches this week as well. We tend to see something pretty much every skywatch. Lots of strange things, I think, a bit close to home flying around there. Skies are quite clear tonight in Greenwich. It makes a change. I mean, you have to put your camera up tonight, Marcus. Typical. Yesterday I was hoping for a skywatch. It was clear all night. And then as soon as I pressed go live, I watched that cloud roll onto the screen, and that was it. Wasn't happening. Wasn't our luck. There. Oh, it's okay. Is it? Oh, it was coming up on TikTok that I was getting the slow internet connection. So, fingers crossed. It's just having a sulk of the software there. And DJ, from what I have read, it was first spotted before we even launched satellites. So, there have been... So there's something recently come around talking about objects that may be reflecting life in low Earth orbit there, and again they're very, very interesting. In fact, quite a lot of potential objects, and that's something very recently has come out in a sort of a scientific paper there. But historically there have been these weird sightings. That some people have witnessed things with early telescopes up there well before we had anything man-made up there. And then there's also these radio detections as well. So not just the long delay echoes there, but really even in the early days of radio, Tesla, I think it was getting some weird signals, really weird signals, which he at the time put down to Martians there. So yeah, it's one of these things that I think is very, very probable. No smoke without fire, I think that's one. I'm loving the stickers there, B. Oh, that's where I've heard it. It's associated with Aleister Crowley and all of that. It's your family. There. They called them interstellar because they are us. Oh, interterrestrial, sorry. Very interesting. I like it. Kate. I've just got one half of that message. I've just got that he said it was just orange when he saw it. I haven't caught the first part. I think TikTok's filled that one out, sadly. Where are we over here? Episode 4, Alan's Tummies. And Bill, since it's December tomorrow, will Alan be dressed up all Christmas-like? I haven't managed to find him a little Christmas hat. I've got a Christmas hat, and this is a very pressing question, Bill. Do I wear the Christmas hat for December, or do we save it as initially planned for our Christmas Eve stream? If I do wear the hat all December, I'm going to have to think of something else to do on Christmas Eve. So maybe we'll have to crack the hat out. What do you think there? We want to see Alan and a Hecklefish podcast. Who's going to be more hogging the mic there? They're both two egocentric characters. It means they know when the universe ends. There was nowhere else for it to go. Oh, whilst there... I don't know what the first part that was. Reading through that. Where are we? Is there any evidence that we know of a cosmic CME affecting the Earth's tectonic plates? So it's theorized, isn't it, that those coronal mass ejection there, when the sun throws a fit and launches a hell of a lot of plasma at us. So we know the sun is capable. We know it's probably rare because we haven't had one in recorded history. There are potentially signs of evidence of that happening on the moon and on the surface of the Earth there, those coronal mass ejections. Now, the effect that it has on us is speculated, especially on the crust tectonic side of things, though. So there's lots of speculation on that, and hey, these things do sometimes seem to be a delicate balance, so it could well do it there. Go to the purple side. Okay, I'll check over there in a second. There. And speaking of which, guys, if you want to see a little bit more of the screen, because we've actually got some more analysis going on up here and behind me that you can't see on TikTok. You can join us on both of those platforms there at the thing UFO, and just like when it loads, there we go. You can see all those other bits going on. It's also good as a backup. TikTok does throw us off every now and again, so it's worth joining us over there. So you can make sure you can catch us uninterrupted, but there's all sorts of other analysis going on, and you can see the live sky map behind me, see where the dish is pointing to. And tick, I think we go to Mars. We learn about ourselves. It's mad. What's a crown? A little crown. That's very cute. Thank you, Blue Nose. How are you doing, Blue Nose? Good to see you. We learn about our cardiac rhythm is more aligned to Mars. And that is one I haven't heard. So I have heard a little bit about, there are certain parts of our biology you could make that the argument that evolutionarily speaking humans are a little bit better adapted to an environment like Mars. But I hadn't heard of the cardiac rhythm being connected to that one. Very, very interesting there. I think that we're going to discover something on the Mars surface that is going to point to a whole different history there than we currently are led to believe. But I think when we land there, we'll just be pushing that conspiracy off planet there, because we won't be able to all get over there straight away. You know, what will they hide from us? How are we doing, Deborah? Good to see you in there. I've got Alan the hat. I'm trying to find a small enough one for Alan. I haven't been successful yet. I'll check a double. I'll speed deliver one after the stream if I can find one. I have a special one. I've got where is it? I'll save it for tomorrow. It's in a box. I've got a green Christmas hat. And Ryan, how are we doing there? Where is the signal being broadcast from and to? Good question. So we're not broadcasting, we're just listening. So what's happening is we've got a very large dish, and as the Earth rotates, we're sweeping across the starry sky there, hopefully passing over a planet that is inhabited, and we're sending a signal. If it is sending us a signal, we'll see it hopefully there at the top of the screen here, and then this bit here is all to do with analysing the signal, and the bit behind us that you can't see of it there on TikTok shows you what part of the sky we're pointing at there. And the idea is that this frequency here, this channel on the dial, the hydrogen line, that is where scientists theorise we're most likely to hear a message from another alien race out there. And in the past there have been some very, very interesting signals detected here, most notably the whale signal detected in the late 1970s there, but there have been many more, and the frequency of these signals, it seems to be increasing as well. So that's what we're doing. We're listening out, hoping that ET is sending us that message. If you've seen the film Contact, it's kind of like that. That's what we're doing. Ben Rushton, how are we doing there? What type of equipment do you use to do this? Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, so what we've got is a large parabolic mesh antenna that's tuned to this frequency range, and then it comes in through some amplifiers and through some filters to give ourselves the best chance of hearing any faint signals that may be coming through, because these distances are so vast. Most likely any radio signal that does reach us here on Earth is going to be so quiet, it's going to want to go below this background noise level here, and we'll get it lost. And actually that's what this red box is doing. It's looking for signs of a faint signal there. But the idea is the more sensitive equipment you can have, the greater your chances of hearing those quieter and quieter signals are. But essentially you can do this from home. If you want to know specifically what kit, drop us a message and I'll send you some links. The more people, the more eyes and ears on the sky, the better there. And B, I have a hecklefish. Oh, excellent. I only noticed recently they were selling them. I was going to get Leanne one. And my Alan, because he's definitely filming together 100% there, B. I want to see them two together there. Oh, good. Apart from getting your cut written off on the oh no, Blue Nose. I hope that sounds like a dangerous accident there. Are you okay? That is never good, Blue Nose. Hope you and everyone is all right there. That's not a good on the weekend, is it? And B, did you all know that during the infiltration stage of a infatuation, God, my eyes, stage of relationship with prolonged eye contact. I knew something about prolonged eye contact, and this actually ties me, the hearts sync up. Really? So I have heard it's kind of associated to this, definitely with the eye contact side of things, but the greys, a lot of people talk about this positive experience, a lot of people negative as well, but apparently if you make direct eye contact with them, there's something that they're able to do there that triggers that sort of dopamine release, which makes you more compliant there. I'm just thinking that the eyes is a similar thing that's happening with us there, but they've got like a super strength version. That's why people will willingly apparently go on their ships. So don't make eye contact with them is the idea there. And to get the Earth, it's 23 point something hours a day, but Mars, it's 24 something. Really? That's very interesting there. There is a case to be made that something's going on that, maybe we did originate from there as well. And TE, hello. How are you doing tonight there? Oh, Kate's message. So my 14-year-old saw an orange light in the sky around 1 a.m. Took a pic, but it was really blurry. It looks like it has a red and blue light, like a plane, but he insists it was straight up orange to the eye. He has a freakishly good long-distance vision as well, despite not being able to see anything in front of his face there. I mean, hey, that sounds interesting. Orange to the eye immediately makes me think of the sighting that we had the other week there. That was very, very orange, wasn't it? And blue. And what colour was it? Blue and red? Or was it... yeah, red and blue are like lights either side. So it's red and green, isn't it? It's normally the navigation ones for aircraft and even ships. So red and blue, though, maybe not. So that's very interesting. At 1 a.m. as well. How long was it in the sky for there? Let's check over on the tubes. It's taken us a while. Scroll down there. Are we up to date on that one? No, I think we're... Sorry, blame the Baileys. Always blaming the Baileys there. Artex, how are we doing tonight? Abducted once. As in like a ha-ha abducted, or as in like a serious alien abduction? We'd love to hear about it either way. Holly's in. How are we doing, Holly? Boo, I know. It's too cloudy for a skywatch. Serious stuff. Okay, we'd love to hear about it. Yeah, we're all good. I had to pull Stranger Things, the new season, to come on and do this. You know, I've got my times. We're going to stick to the times. We're good like that. But you know, when you're halfway through and you're really into it, so half my brain is still chewing over watching the new season of Stranger Things. So you have to forgive me, guys. I'm fully on the ball. It explains most of it, does it? There, Tina. I did used to like a little bit of Bailey's. Probably a little bit too much. He didn't say he's mostly non-verbal, and what he does speak of, it's only a few words. I mean, it sounds like a fantastic... So he's got a picture. I'd still like to see the picture if you want to send it in. That'd be cool to see. Unstable internet. Give it a second, let it sort itself out. I've got a feeling that Leanne, every now and again, just waits for my stream to start downloading massive amounts of data to just get in the way there. No spoilers yet. I'll try. I'm not going to talk about it. You're all right. I'm not going to spoil it. It's too fresh. I like to watch it, but I need to binge it. Holly, that's my normal default. And I think they're like Raph as well. I was gonna save it till like the new year when all the episodes are out, but I just don't have time to binge watch anything anymore. So I thought I might as well just start now. And hey, have you ever heard anything? Good question. So we haven't ourselves. We've only been doing this a few months, and these signals are quite rare. But on this frequency, there have been a number of interesting signals detected. Most notably the WOW signal back in the 70s, but there has been a high frequency of detected signals, some as recent as 2019, I think. Maybe even later, some people are talking about there. So there is a reasonable statistical chance of us hearing something, but most of the action happens when we do our UFO, UAP sky watches. So when the clouds aren't in the way, we point the camera to the sky, and there's some footage, and we see all the weird and wonderful things flying around in the night sky. Or when the moon is up full, there's some footage of that. We do a moon watch, talk about how weird the moon is, see all the craters and all the details there. And those streams, I mean, we're seeing strange things pretty much every stream for those. So make sure you're joining us around for that. Yeah, give us a follow, and you get those notifications hopefully when we go live there. And as B says there, do give us a follow and get that notification there. But we're also on these platforms as well, and you can see a little bit more of the screen, which is quite important there. And when TikTok has a sulk and throws us off, you can join us over on those ones too. Artix, they took me and dropped me off 2 days later in my shed and couldn't erase all my memories. Okay, interesting. Like, if you don't mind, because I know some of these experiences can be quite stressful, especially to remember there. But I mean, what sort of beings were they? If they couldn't erase your memories, do you remember that? Do you remember like what sort of craft it was? I'd love to hear about that one there. Usually end up in the early hours of the morning, still up. Normally, yes, I'm trying to be better these days there. Joe, to be honest, I don't know what's taking so long with disclosure. Joe, it's so frustrating, isn't it, there, being that... Honestly, I think disclosure is more of a process, like... I don't think it's somebody coming out necessarily and saying it. I think that's one piece of the puzzle. But what I think they're doing is they're slowly seeding us, warming us up. More people talking about it, more serious people talking about it. And then if you noticed, it was the serious people that saying, well, I've seen documents talking about this, or I've seen this. Is that one step removed? Now we're getting people saying, no, I've seen these things, I've handled these things. So each step is just getting us warmer and warmer and warmer there before the sort of the main release. But I think disclosure fully comes when it's in that public consciousness there, the zeitgeist, which I think happens again by what we're doing tonight, by being so well connected that we can share all these experiences there, that just the everyday person will hear a little bit more of it in the background there. So what I think's happening there. My knees and elbows have never been the same. Interesting. There. No worries, Dave. I love it. Any luck tonight there? Not yet, Jeff, not yet. But this is the thing with this, it's a lottery. You never know when those signals will and could come in. It's a right place, right time jobby. So, any signal will only be on screen for between 30 and 90 seconds when we do get it there. So we've just got to wait. We've got to wait, and then we'll get that big spike, hopefully, coming in on the screen. And as you can hear now, if I turn the music down, so that is the sounds of the cosmic microwave background there. The early universe, scientists think, yeah, that is the leftover sounds of the Big Bang. What's interesting, but that is the sound coming through on the radio receiver there. So at any point, that could change. It could change to some bleeping, some other weird noise, and wouldn't that be interesting? Just as we're chatting away, we just get that signal in on screen for between 30 and 90 seconds. There, Marcus.
Thank you for the alien pets, guys.
Thank you for that. You never know when it's going to come in there. Joe, is there just a day when they flick the switch and go, yeah, we aren't alone, and deal with it? I think in all government senses, they're always late to the party, like massively late. So I think by the time they do flick that switch, the majority of people will already kind of go, yeah, I know this. There was this event and that event and that event. They'll be like 4 steps behind. And drip feed us in to warm us up there. It's the disclosure foreplay is what it is. There, fingers crossed, exactly. Feed him, Marcus. What's the constant high spike on the orange bar at the bottom? Good question there. So this one, this is actually a bit of local electronic interference. So we used to have it was much stronger, and you could see it up here. But what happens is these are dynamic signals coming in real time. So you're seeing all these ups and downs, these spikes, very precise. This displays that same information based on averages. So yeah, you see the data in a different way. You can notice more patterns, more undulations, more things like that. Oh, hold on. Let me clear the puzzle for TikTok. So yeah, we see these things, and what it's doing is, because every now and again there is a little flash, a little spike, but it is very thin, and yeah, it's not up that often. So that is why it's displaying this little ridge here. So it's showing that basically that there is a little bit of interference there, but it's showing it a little bit differently. So good spot, and we have had a very similar one right where we wanted it a few times there, but I'm hesitant to say that is aliens, because that one, when we do get it here, the same as this one, is it's on our screen for too long. If it's on there as long as these ones are physically on it with us there, it does mean that they are probably located with us as a signal source there, because if you imagine with the Earth's rotation, we're going to be passing over stars quite quickly, so that time limit is key for us to help filter out what might be alien. But good eagle eye spot in there. And what do you think about Free Eye Atlas, Jeff? I think it's a very interesting object. I don't have any strong beliefs on it. I've not got a high conviction level with any of these things, but I do think I lean at the minute with Atlas being most likely organic in nature there, so probably not alien or technological in nature there, some sort of fancy natural object. But again, it's not a hard-held belief. I think it has done enough interesting things for the question to be very much open, but I also don't think it's done anything that 100% couldn't be explained away by chance or by nature necessarily. So I kind of lean, I think, by default, in the absence of a clear one, to organic. But again, it's not a hard-held belief there. And B, so the question you asked on YouTube about the binary systems, I actually did not know. What was the question asked? Was that the post we put out there? Because we put a little clip out. I think it was that one. That most of the stars in the skies that we see, it's a very high number. I think it's about half are actually binary. They're two stars or more. Sometimes a trinary system, which I didn't know at all. You think, oh, look, big bright dot, it's probably, it's a star there. But yeah, it's a star, but it's normally, there's normally a companion to it. And they do theorize that our sun may have had a larger companion, because ours is a reasonably small star in the scheme of things. And yeah, normally there's quite a big disposition of size between the stars. We get a super massive one and then a little smaller one with it. Sometimes a tiny one to accompany it as well. But yeah, we do think we may have had a neighbouring star in our system. I'm going to assume that's where the show Free Body Problem. So that is the principle, isn't it? So spoilers. I always got Leanne's downloading that again. So the Free Body Problem is basically that sort of principle there. So you can work out. This is spoilers, or this is not too much of a spoiler. I'm not going too much on the thing here, but if so the free bodies refer to free stars in a solar system there. So with a binary, with a single solar system, it's nice and easy. You've got the star and the planets are in orbit around that star. Now, when you've got two bodies in it, you're kind of doing sometimes a figure eight. That other gravitational body there, it throws them all off. It's more like juggling with two hands when you've got a binary system in there. So when you get a trinary system, when there's three stars in there, all of those interactions and the gravitational pulls and things like that, it's just too complicated to work out there. So that's why it's called a three-body problem there, because it's just too bloody complicated to figure all those out, especially when some of those as well are actually on quite long elongated orbits, those smaller stars. So sometimes, the binary system can be doing its thing, and then third star just comes through and shakes up the system every million years or something silly there. With us there, good. And Holly, have you seen Knight's latest video on Alex? I haven't actually. I'm awful at the minute for keeping up with the regular UFO world. It's you guys that keep me in it. There. Holly's well, why are some stars orange colour? No, I haven't seen that one. There, and if this might sound silly, but the radio signals we're looking for, is it just on a single frequency? No, that's not silly at all, Jeff. That is a very, very good question there. So we're looking on one sort of frequency here, or a tight selection, because there's some excuses of why they might be ever so slightly either side, but we're looking on this front one frequency here because I said this is very useful for radio astronomy, this frequency here, the hydrogen line, and because of that there'll always be eyes and ears studying this frequency. No matter what our communication technology is, we think that we'll always have to study this line to learn about the universe and what's going on in it. So that is, we think if we're doing this, alien scientists would be doing this too. The same principles would apply to them. They'll always be curious studying this frequency for those just the normal astronomical purposes. So out of all of the channels on the radio dial, this one always has eyes and ears on it, so this would be the perfect place to put that message like logic would dictate. So that's the main reason why we search this one. But then on top of that, there's another two reasons why this is a good frequency to pick out of all of those options. That is that we've obviously had those candidate signals on this frequency a few times before in the past. So whenever there is a previous for something, there is a higher chance again of hearing a signal. But lastly as well, because it's useful for those radio astronomical purposes there for scientific reasons, you're not actually allowed to transmit on it. It's one of the few frequency bands that's actually meant to be silent, across the world there. It's reserved for listening only. So it does mean that any signals we get in here are unlikely to be you know, another electronic device, my phone, a satellite passing by, my Wi-Fi router, anything like that, it helps filter that out. Whereas a lot of the other spectrum is used for lots of other technological purposes, so it does get in the way. So that's why we checked this one. But yeah, ET, they might not, if it's just ET to ET, they might use any frequency. They might not even use radio. There's good reasons they could use light for communication. There may be some sort of quantum property, as we were talking about earlier, might be a better way of communicating. And in fact, a lot of people talk about 1.6 being connected to UFO and UAP sightings. So that would be a good one to check for that. The problem with us is checking 1.6 is, well, that's used for satellite and ground communication. So if we did get a signal at 1.6, we wouldn't know if it was a UFO or if it was somebody using like a satellite phone or something like that. So that's why we keep down here. But it's a very good question there, Jeff. I've been seeing a lot about a dark sun. I think that's some flat Earth lore. Oh, I mean, it might well be. It doesn't ring a bell. But there are some weird astronomical things that have weird names like that. But it might be a flat Earth. Has anybody else heard about the dark sun? There, Freeman's in. How are we doing? Anything happening? We've got our little interference signal back, but other than that, we're all just having a catch up there. So yeah, it's a good question there, Jeff. And I was just going to say light, but if they used quantum entanglement for communication, it would be instant. So yeah, we've got quantum entanglement. There's a new one called quantum tunneling, and it's a way basically that they can. It's like a wormhole, but it's not like not a wormhole. But yeah, you can send a message through this quantum tunnel, basically. And for the time that message is travelling through the tunnel, there is no time. Like, it's just zero. There's no latency. It's just like that. So that's another interesting way of doing it. So yeah, again, this might be so much. I mean, the quantum world, we are yet to get our heads around. That could well be how they communicate with each other with their craft. But radio is always a good one, so with all those reasons that we mentioned, but also it's quite efficient, relatively speaking, and it's also quite easy access. You don't have to be very technologically advanced to start playing with radio there. So yeah, it's probably, if you purposely want to have that message heard, you know, you're reaching out there across the galaxy, you want ET to communicate with you there, you know, you want your highest chances of reaching other civilizations that you don't know if they are or aren't out there, then yeah, radio is probably a good, nice, easy access, wide one to use there. Where are we there? Want to hear something weird? Always, Holly, always. Where are we here? The math doesn't add. When does Alan's tummy stop rumbling? You guys don't have the little goal, but over on TikTok we've got a little goal there. It's like a little meter that fills up with all of the gifts, and when he gets to 50%, his tummy stops rumbling enough that he's well enough to do a Q&A there. Kate, you got the bag. So for reference there, we've got one of our stream stickers is the Sainsbury's carrier bag that there we go, and the TikTok got rid of it when they made their changes to Superfan, sadly, but it was there for you guys to bully me about the time that I got spooked. It turned out to be a carrier bag, and Kate has just found it over on that platform there on Twitch. Apparently you get access to it on Twitch as well there. It's not showing for you. It's showing for me. I can see it. There. And so where are we? So Holly as well. At the end of my brother's road, there's a house, but I always remember it as a bungalow. Okay, what's that about? So I'm assuming we'll tick off the obvious stuff here, that nobody's knocked down a bungalow and now there's a newer house there. Because I know bungalows, you can buy it, you know, and then put more house on it and raise the property values. We give locally, or almost in Essex, a lot of people buying up bungalows and putting sometimes more than one house on the site there. So that's the first content there. Or are we talking here that there's some sort of, not necessarily Mandela effect, but maybe, you know, there's a slight change in your reality of understanding. Is that maybe what's going on there? And Jeff, they think, they might not communicate the way we think. Well, this is another point as well, Jeff. Like, we're basing this on our experience here. Maybe there's something much more fundamental at play. We can't fully wrap our heads around there. They may not just communicate by, not even just that the language would be different, or the method would be different, but the things that they need to or don't need to say and to share with each other might be so off base from our experience there. That's what the bubbles do. You can unlock stuff. But now I'm on ads. Well, there we go. See, Twitch is not a bad platform other than the ads. But Alan appreciates you watching the ads. He's got his eyes on Aston Martin there. I've got mine and they're amazing. I now have Alan on my back windshield. I want to see a picture of that in situ. That's awesome, B. Yeah, we've got a couple of those stream sticker packs left. Not many, but they're in our TikTok shop if you want the last couple there. Is that a memory from a different timeline? It could well be, Holly. Like, I've got an out of left field explanation for this, and it's not saying that I believe this more than the others we're talking about, like deja vu or the Mandela effect, all of these other explanations, multiverse theory, all this sort of stuff. But I've got a different theory that I want to put in the works here, and I'm not by any means clever enough to actually figure this out. I'll put this together in a cohesive manner, but it came from the idea that we think about time wrong. So we think that time is a baseline, and then you can go forward or you can go backwards, but there is a consistent running order. There's always this marker to go to and fro back from that's always persisting, and it's not. Time is more like weather. Some places it's going at this rate, some people it's going at that rate. It's just that we and our whole entire human experience has been in such a small locality that we've all shared the same weather, It's like thinking that, if we all lived in the same town and we've only experienced obviously the same weather for everybody at once, and then somebody says, well, it's raining where I am, they ring you up and go, it's raining where I am, and go, oh, well, they must be behind because, we had rain last week, so they're slow, the rain's only just got to them. I think time is probably more like weather, and I also think that our reality is potentially more like weather as well. Like, I think that in the absence of something being connected, like you're gonna, so that the whole answer with the Mandela effect here was that some people thought that Nelson Mandela died in prison, and some people thought that no, he survived, which is what the mainstream history records, that he survived and went on to be president and was released and all this sort of stuff there. So two different events, and what I think is going on for people is that for one group, that was their reality. Not in the sense that it was a separate A and B reality, but they were existing and doing their thing. But until they did something that then connected them to the wider, larger reality, then the wider, larger reality went, and collapsed their reality. They kind of amalgamated it in. I can't really get a good word for explaining this one, but I think it's something. I think, reality is potentially localized, and then when you interact, it will correct for the larger one there. God, that's just trying to get my words out for that one. I have to put that into a better theory for you, the guys there. Eric as well, have you ever got contact? So we haven't, but this frequency has had a history of very, very interesting signals. So our statistical odds are increasing the longer we do this for, because it has got previous. But potential alien radio signals are very, very rare. The other thing that does point in our favour is that they do seem to be getting more common. It used to be a case of once every couple of decades we'd get a really weird signal that nobody could explain, and they wouldn't want to say it's aliens, but they still couldn't explain it, and then it became roughly every decade, and now it seemed to be multiple per decade there. The frequency of these signals being detected is going up and up and up, so you never know when, where it might happen. It's a case of being over the right planet at the right time, and we never know what they're going to be. We do get lots of sightings though when we do our live UFO, UAP, skywatch and footage for when the clouds part. We do a live UFO, UAP, skywatch there. So we tend to see lots on those ones there as well. I have had a couple of my own personal Mandela effects. Really? What ones were they? Oh, Night Jeff, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your questions. I hope to catch you later on in the week, though. Hope you have a good time. When the movie Onward came out, I sat before I watched it and told my kid the entire movie. Oh. And then when when the newest Baldur's Gate came out, I knew all about what happens with the vampires. Okay, I haven't watched haven't played the latest for Baldur's Gate on that one. So there's something you're connecting into something there. Already know. I like that. I love it. Yeah, so I think in the absence of our brains being actually there in that situation, that reality and the variables for it kind of just play out in a very low resolution way for you. In the same way that, like, when a video game, we talk about rendering in video games, it doesn't actually render the spaces where you are physically, not all the NPCs aren't there because it's just wasted computer power. But for your character in their world, their mum is still at home doing their sort of thing. So it's kind of, they still have to function in some sort of low, less energy requirement sort of way. But then when you go and you actually experience it, and it hasn't been quite the same, then the realities collapse in. I think there's something like that going on, but I do need to figure out a better way of describing that. I think I'm just tired. But yeah, I think that might be part of what is going on there. Oh, no, it is working. There we go. I think time is a looping spiral helix, and we jump in and out of it. Birth, death, just at different times in time. My brother said I was crazy. No, I don't think at all. I think... How do we describe this? I think it's just how, as... Well, technically we're 4D creatures, so we'll say it like this. So we're three physical dimensions and one spatial dimension. I think time is just our experience as a one temporal dimension creature. I think, that we experience aging, getting older, is the same as what we experience when we walk forward in the physical domains there. I think it is... like the march of time forward is the same as us walking forward on an axis there, and if we didn't have that axis, or if we had another one, we'd be able to walk in that direction or not in one direction. I think that's the same. I think time it's all from a multi, somebody could experience, backwards in time as well. They would just perceive it as differently, but we can only ride time in that one way. Now, my brother said I was crazy. I try and explain it to him. No, I don't think at all. I think, again, our understanding of reality is just so limited. It's that functional understanding that you tell your children. I've said this before, but, like you tell your kid, lying is bad. Well, as an adult, you know that, okay, lying isn't optimal. You try not to, but there are some times then lying can get you out of a dangerous situation. So it's a little bit more nuanced, it's a little more of a grey area, but for a child, they don't need to lie. You're responsible for keeping them safe, and you need to know everything about it. So for them, it's functional for them to know that, have that very simple explanation without all of the complexity there, that lying is bad. And I think we teach each other this. We go, well, time is this thing here. Everything is reality, it's fundamental in its baseline, and it is what it is. But I don't think it is. I think it's much more flexible than that. I think it's much more relative than that. I mean, if time can be literally relative, I think reality can be relative as well. And I think we're going to learn all that, but should be getting our heads around that one. How do we do it? What was that thing a while ago going on around about not asking people in your dreams about time? Oh god, yeah, I remember something like that. What was that? Does anybody else remember that? When there was this... It's going around that was it dangerous? You wasn't meant to ask the people in your dreams something about time. On that one, does anybody else remember that one there? I tried to explain it to him. Until he's what your brother's probably got a very standard understanding of reality, which has probably worked well enough for him, so he's got no reason to question it there. We apply our own limited thinking to all our life in the universe. Exactly. You know, we've got a very limited frame of reference, and hey, that's always going to be the nature. You know, you don't know what you don't know, but we need to account for our limitations there, so we're not filtering out things 100% out there. Had no one named time, would it even be a thing, is my question now. That actually touches me on, oh my god, how do you even describe this? So language isn't just the words to describe things. You know, language is a model for that thing, how it works, and it's also a concept, and it's a little process as well. These are tools, and there's an argument that, you know, like our brains are the same size they were back in caveman times, but what we've done is not just physically learn tools, we've learned those substructures. So if I'm teaching my child, I don't have one, if I'm trying to teach Alan here to set the table for dinner, what I do is, if I go set the table for dinner, they're going to look at me and go, what the, you know, no, because that's a concept, it's not a thing. So what you have to do is you have to go, right, we're having dinner, we're going to sit at the table, right, so I'm going to put the plates down at each position, right, for each person. There's 3 of us, we've got to put 3 plates down, right, and then we're going to need to put the knives and forks that we use down, right, so we've got to go over to the cutlery drawer, we've got to get out those knives and forks, so 3 of each, right, and then you take them over and you put them either side of the plate there like that, etc, etc. There are multiple steps to setting the table for dinner. You know, but we can condense all of those hundreds of steps, because you can break that down into, you know, when you're a baby, you don't know how to learn to walk, so they wouldn't be able to walk to the cutlery drawer. But when you're learning, that's 1 foot in front of the other, this muscle does this muscle does that. But what you're doing at every point is you're taking multiple steps and condensing them down into 1 step there. And what that does is it compresses, it saves space, and you're doing that upon that upon that, and it's taken this many generations for us to build up these concepts upon concepts and slowly refine more and more and more into these different repeating conceptual structures there. So it's never, language isn't just the words there. So to go back to what set me off on this tangent, there'd be, you know, would time even be a thing if we didn't label it there? Quite possibly not. We might experience it very, very differently, because what we've done is, in the word time, we've picked in all elements of our experience and said this stuff comes under time. They're time associated, time related. When I do this and when this happens, and there are ways around doing it. And I heard a really interesting, I don't know how true this is, but psychologically it made a lot of sense, that in North Korea, like, they don't even have a word for freedom. And take it, I know it sounds a bit question here, but if you don't have the word, then you're unlikely to have a concept of something. So then there is no option for something to be different. You know, it just, you know, you need to have those mental concepts before you can then start to play with things. So maybe we wouldn't notice time that way. Maybe we are making up something out of other things together there. He's an engineer. Holly, an engineer, right? Incredibly intelligent people, engineers. You have to be for that sort of thing. But what you find with intelligence, particularly IQ, is after a point it gets siloed. Well, that means it becomes hyper specialized. So people like that are incredibly good at certain things here, and engineers are really good at that physical problem solving in a certain defined space there, but they're very used to following the rules. And when you present somebody, like, you know, academics can fall into this as well, if you do something away, like 3 steps away, without providing the steps of how that could have happened, then you've lost them totally there. And it just goes to show you, doesn't it, like, there are different types of intelligence, different tools in the toolbox. Like, how could I do anywhere near anything that an engineer can do? Very, very impressive. Same as the academics out there. I mean, you know, they do some impressive work, and it does push the needle forward for us as a community there. But they can get very blinded to certain things. Extremophiles. Oh, what's the I don't think the first bit came through tick tick. I only just got the spelling correction extreme fast there. And same for you, Asian X. I just got the time correction. Unless you're correcting mine there. How you doing, Robbie? Good to see you there today. We use the moon and the sun for time. If we were born on Trappist B, who knows what's what? Well, exactly. Well, for our allocation of measurements of time, 100%, yeah, our year, you know, it's how long it takes our Earth to go around our star, isn't it there? So the actual division of time is very relative to us. You know, we've said this before, we don't know what frequency an alien civilization might be sending their signals. Maybe they do it once a day, but maybe their days are really, really long. You know, so it might work out for us as once a year, you know, and we don't know what their division of time is there. But our experience of time, you know, we might be dividing it all up there. The blinkered, yeah, that hyper intelligence there, and I mean, this always one gets a ruckus here because he's a very, what's the word, a divisive character. But you take somebody like Musk, absolute genius in some areas. I mean, like absolute, like real outsider in some areas, but would I hell take a relationship advice from Musk? No. You know, would I take how to act appropriately to other people? No. You know, like it becomes hyper specialized, you know, those intelligences. It's not like a general across the board. B as well, thank you for those the fest pops there. I appreciate that. All goes back into the stream. I'm glad to hear it, Robbie, as well. How was your weekend? Been up to anything good? Tick. Oh, it was the end of the latest post. Oh, I got that first though. Yeah, I don't think I got that one. Exactly, time for us would be completely different. We would need an intergalactic time, so we would. But this is where the problem comes in. Like, there isn't an intergalactic time. There isn't one needle of time. That is the thing. That's what it took me a while to get my head around this. So time is relative. So it's always to do about our experience here. So it's like weather. Weather is relative. And you can give it an average based on a defined area, but you could only ever do an intergalactic time. How would you do that across? Because time is going to be running so differently through so many multiple bodies there. There isn't like a thing to plus or minus against. It's like, yeah, like honestly, it hurts the brain. Eva, what the time was, or something it was going around on TikTok there. I want to know how they knew what time to put it at when they made the first clock. Oh yeah, I can't get my head around that, like how they used to plan everything. And it's like, oh, honestly, I know they've revised it a few times, so they didn't get it right, but that hurts there. But yeah, what was that TikTok thing? Like in my mind, it was like, yeah, you're not allowed to talk to somebody because it breaks the system, or, you know, they get angry or something in your dreams if you talk to them about time there. I sent the YouTube video of Jesse Michael's Baltic Sea anomaly to my brother in Estonia, who is also not... I'll have to wait for the other half of that one. Old Jesse Michael's got a new one upstairs, hasn't he, with old Rogan. Oh, it's back there. The trick is, this is Kate, is getting to a grip with realities and not falling into psychosis. And that's coming from somebody who hears voices. So, Kate, you are actually quite on the money with that one as well, because this is the thing. What you're doing what we're all doing here by exploring these concepts is we're, with one hand, rubbing out the firm foundation of our understanding, and our understanding of the world, how it works, and therefore what threats might be around us. Even if it's wrong, if we think it's right and we've got a nice little clear understanding, is reassuring. It's the definition of sort of mental stability, you know, there. So when we're exploring these things, we open up Pandora's box and we start to ask ourselves, well, what is going on with this? What about this? Is this maybe a bit different? We have to be careful that we don't open up too much, because what we do, we rub out half of that foundation that we do have, and then all of a sudden we're left in a world of chaos. And yeah, that it does send people mad. It's old Nietzsche did this one. I don't know if you technically call him a philosopher there, but you know, he was, yeah, like it sent him mad. Many an interesting philosopher there have gone mad trying to understand the nature of humanity and reality and souls there, because you open it all up and you just go, none of this is what it seems, and therefore I'm lost and I'm drowning in it. Definitely there. He's right on the border with Russia, thinking he might be interested, and nope, he's an engineer. So I have this one with, so you know Pete, who does my, who comes on location with us. He does, yeah, our locations there. So he's an engineer as well, and he's very like this as well. It's hard to gauge because sometimes he's open to things, and other times he's so closed off with stuff. And we've tried to have more podcasty discussions about this sort of thing, but you know, you get to the point quite quickly where it doesn't compute. Like, you know, he follows rules and principles and established process, and with those tools he can do fantastically intelligent things. But I've realized that what we're doing is we're the opposite of this. We are out there in the chaos, in the weeds, trying to make structures out of chaos, and it's a totally different skill set. It's a totally different world than what we're doing here, and you know, one party doesn't tend to value the other side because they don't understand it. But it is interesting trying to get those minds together, because again, like with everything, there is a useful balance. You know, whilst we're out here in chaos, you know, we might build structures that aren't very useful. He needs to experience that aligns with his perceivable rules. So to a degree, yes. Or I think he needs to see the how to things. You know, that is the thing. So he needs to be able to have a touch point on what he does understand, or how, at whatever point that might diverge from what we understand, and then it's different. He needs to kind of like be taken on that journey all the way. So for him, he finds it's a lot of woo and a lot of, you know, that as we hear in the skeptical side. But he is definitely open. He just has to go onto that route with it. But it is a hard one, because we've got one of our semi-regulars isn't in today, I don't think. Jolly, are you in today over on the tubes? Hello if you are. But we've had, I think Jolly, would I be right in saying Jolly's a flat earther? Or have I got that one wrong? Because he's talking about things and he comes up with these long explanations there, and I don't fully follow. And the problem with not fully following is that he may be saying something very, very interesting about this counterpoint. So I'm assuming they're flat earther, and therefore I'm not from that camp, but I'm open to hearing side of things. But coming in with just fact after fact, or what they perceive to be facts after facts, I don't know what that fact then means. You know, I don't know how it ties in, and I feel like that's probably where we come with somebody like Pete, or somebody that's more of that mindset there. We're going, but look at this as evidence, look at this as evidence, and they need to see why, first of all, that is important for then when we have evidence that it's the other way around, they can understand the value and the meaning of that. You know, like so I think, you know, it's a good lesson for us when we're trying to explain this to people there. If the earth was flat, how comes the seas just don't run off? I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, it's not one for me. There's far too much, I think, that, for me anyway, my understanding of the world, and a lot of what we do here, it relies on orbital mechanics. It relies on all of these things like that. Even when we're doing the radio signal stuff here, we're talking about, you know, the Earth's rotation, the signal distances here, Doppler shift, all of that stuff. But this is where I'm always willing to kind of leave the door slightly open, is that my understanding of all those things comes from scientists, and that comes from another scientist who's done other work, and it's not work I've done myself. So I'm willing to, you know, definitely I would say that science has gone wrong quite a few times. They've gone off on sideways journeys here and there and everywhere. String theory to be the main one, the main obvious candidate there. So I'm definitely opening definitely definitely open to hear encounters of these, but you've got to kind of meet me at the right place for my brain to kind of get the right angle on these things, to get the beat of it. Yes, exactly there. Oh, it's because the ice wall stops it. There we go. Okay, you get a little bit too much knowledge there on the old flat Earth, Kate. All we really need to know is, I think, therefore I am. Raf, that is incredibly profound, isn't it? I mean, but it gets you into what is consciousness? Questions upon questions are there. I think the oldest question for me is probably one of the earliest things that confused me as a child when you're starting to learn about all of these things, which was, okay, what's the universe in? Okay, if we're talking about the universe, we can explain what it is, how it works. What is the universe itself in? And then what's that in? And then what's that in? I can't understand a finalised top level. And the closest I got to an answer was from a big-haired boffin, so he looked very credible, and he said, well, basically that's the wrong sort of question to be answering, because it's so different from how we're trying to conceive of it. And I thought, okay, fair enough, that's somewhat close to the question there. Tom, welcome aboard. Thank you for the follow there. Where are you joining us from tonight? But yeah, I mean, my head just can't go, but what's that in? But what's that in? There. It's going to say that. I can't comprehend infinite. Yeah, exactly. I understand what you mean by the concept, but my head goes, yeah, okay, what's that in? It doesn't allow, it breaks the software. I get an error message come up when I try and conceive of that. Or when you try and get me to wake up at an unreasonable time, when the hours are still in the single digits. It's very, very... There's a few of those questions like that there. I think it's just a giant copy of a closed system over and over again into infinite. I know, but I can get that. But then my brain goes, but then what's that in? My brain does not want to let go of the idea, and I think that's probably where the problem is of this physical containership of something. It goes, that's a fundamental understanding for me, is that things have to be in things. I'm just analysing this now, where I'm going wrong. And that's why I can't let go and just go, yeah, I don't think it's in anything. A lot of people would argue that, Holly, but my brain doesn't want to conceive of that. It goes, yeah, but what's it in? But what's the anything in? What's the nothing in? Brain does not compute. It always wants to think it's in something. Perceptions, perspective. I couldn't quite pick one, apparently. Interchangeable? We're very fucking deep tonight. Yes, we are. Why the hell not on a Sunday? We'll tire the old bonds out. You'll be straight to bed, all refreshed for work in the week there. Like the Men in Black. They're the ones cutting us off. My daddy used to tell me, curiosity killed the cat, and I'll tell him, but satisfaction brought it back. Yeah, I heard that curiosity killed the cat, and honestly, that will probably be the end of me. I have got myself into many a dangerous situation. Wandering around here dazed with unanswered questions about the university. God, I just get so thirsty on this damn stream. I've gone for a whole bottle of water already. I want to go get another one. What time is it? 34 now. I'll last it out with dry mouth there. I'm certainly going to look to see what got me. Yeah, I do think... What's the... Is it quantum immortality? It was not a theory that's necessarily based on any evidence or anything, but the idea that every time you die, you just go to a new reality. You're just always on the timeline of immortality, but for other people. And I look back, and I have had some seriously close calls. There's at least 3 times I can think off the top of my head where I shouldn't have made it out of there. And that's curiosity there. Have you seen Patrick Jackson's Live with Matty? No. Oh, I need to pop off. Busy work day tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back on tomorrow. Hope to see you then. Hope work goes well as well. But I think we're going to be trying for during the week 9 till 11 p.m. UK time this week coming up. Excuse me. We're just going to try out that one for this week. See if it allows me to eat before the streams. Because we answer thousands of comments. May well be. I'm not used to talking this much. Most of the time I'm quite quiet, would you believe? I get it all done here. Oh, good. I need to see that. Oh, good. I need to see that. It's brilliant. Oh, I will totally forget. Patrick Jackson's live with Matty. I need to see it. Yeah, you had to tag me in it. Or tag me in a poster for it so I remember. All this thinking is what made Hawkins go mental. Oh, you don't know the half of it yet, Raph. You don't know the half of it. I will say, and this isn't a spoiler, because you would have seen it. It's all in the promo and stuff. But as a radio geek, they've now included a perfect golden era radio thing in it. I'm like, oh, this is made for me. I'm very excited about that. They've done it very well. So I might have to get back into radio now. I've been all inspired. He does this haunted house. Oh, he's not, No, I don't think, no, that is no, I was thinking that. Oh, yeah, I'll have to see that one. Because I do need to, I'm trying to get into better routines, he says. We'll see how it goes. He knows what he's saying. Oh, the Sphere Network guy. Yeah, well, I've seen him on a couple of interviews, and he was talking about this, wasn't he? What's the one? It's there's one in Wales, isn't there? It's like a council estate house that you wouldn't think is a haunted house, but it's the what is it? The Black Monk, isn't it? Or Pontefract, is it, or something? Oh, was there one in Manchester? I was talking about one. Yeah, and they're talking about that these hauntings may be related to the Sphere Network and stuff there. Are we there already, VS? Where are we already? Rare to tap. Don't know. There. Yeah, I've seen him interviewed a few times on the Sphere Network stuff. I like the idea of the Sphere Network. That's very much in the plausibility to me, but not so much the explanation for the hauntings. It felt like it was kind of a long way around of doing it there. See you, B. Well, I think we'll probably be an hour later than the normal start. So what time we started tonight? It's about 9 UK time. I'm not sure how that works out for you, but we'll catch you tomorrow, B. Thank you for joining us again. There is a disruptive maths that will destroy most people's worlds. Please don't dismiss him. Who's what? Is that associated to this guy's Sphere Network one? This disruptive maths. There. He was live on Saturday, and a revelation dropped after the night. Really? Can you give us spoilers? I mean, yeah, the paranormal side of thing was a theory, and it worked. It could be an explanation for the poltergeist activity and the ghost stuff. And I do think a lot of these things are going to be connected there. Excellent. Reality. Oh, thank you, Holly. I look forward to that one. Yeah, it just seemed like a counter. It just didn't fit for me. Like, I felt like it's a bit of a long-winded one, but maybe I'm not discounting it. There. I don't believe in ghosts, Kate. What's your, because obviously I know you've got the sensitivity there, what's your interpretation of what's going on there? Where are we? Up to date across everything. Yeah. Oh. Excuse me. Right, if you are just joining us, we're doing a live alien radio signal hunt, searching other stars, hoping to hear ET say hello. We're using a big radio dish there in the garden. As the Earth rotates, it sweeps across the skies. Hopefully we're going to pass over a planet sending a message, and if so, we should see that spike nice and clearly at the top there. We're searching on the hydrogen line, that's the yellow line at the top of the screen, and it's the channel on the radio dial that scientists theorise we're most likely to hear the hello is anybody else out there message. So keep an eye on that one and say hello if you're just joining us as well. So spirits, as in us, reside in another plane of existence. Earthbound, there are entities, which are your demons, poltergeists, and hauntings. Okay, so us, when we pass over, we go to another plane there. So, but the echoes, or the things that we see on this side, whilst we're still here, are actually, the earthbound side of things are demons, poltergeists, hauntings. Are like, so they're negative. They're not necessarily loved ones and things there. Is that an accurate one? Damo, how you doing? Yeah, we're all good. Getting a bit tired. We've moved it an hour later, and I've realised how old I am. But we're all good. How are you doing, Damo? How's your weekend been? No activity on the charts tonight. Sadly, been a bit quiet. But whilst we're here, remember guys, this Friday coming, we're going to be doing our next Patreon deep dive. We're going to be looking at the whistleblower that claims to be a molecular biologist who's worked with the alien genetics, biology and anatomy there. If you use the link in our description, you can join us for that, to deep dive over on Patreon. Friday at 11 PM UK time. You can join there for free with that link. You get your whole first month for free, so you'll be able to catch that live, plus a second one this month, and look back at all of the past ones. So it's definitely an interesting one there. And then the spectres that people are seeing are more like recordings of items and lands. So kind of like the stone tape theory then. Okay, nice, works. Not necessarily negative, some are, some aren't. So paranormal activity is, like you say, echoes, where spirits of loved ones are connected to us energetically. I get you, I get what you mean. So an interesting concept there, though, that demons, poltergeist, hauntings, it's not necessarily that they're negative. It can just be our perception of those entities. Makes sense. It was clear as day. Oh, I'm curious to see it. Curious to see it, Holly. I mean, what he was saying about the network, that's definitely a plausible, especially with how much visual evidence is coming out now about this sphere type, and then you can overlay that with, the orb sightings. So maybe they're a little bit more illuminated at night sometimes. Just the sheer quantity that could fit. That could fit quite well there. Our perception, our interaction, we could offend them. They're actually very easily offended. It might be a bad example here, but is it like, in a sense, putting a moral judgment on a lion? Putting a moral judgment of an animal, it's gonna be an animal. It's gonna do its thing. So sometimes that works out bad for us. Sometimes it doesn't bother us at all. So we can perceive, a lion as a negative thing and as a good thing, but in of itself, it's just doing its own things. Okay, that's an interesting way to conceive it, really. I suppose because I had anthropomorphized, most of these entities and stuff like that. You're putting those characters, very human traits on them. Are we up over on these ones? Oh, yeah, but the network side, it was interesting. I could definitely get behind that. My only, and again, I haven't seen that evidence, so it might be a very interesting one to sway me. But the explanation for the poltergeist and things like that as distractions, so the sphere network can do its thing and do its communications and stuff. It felt a bit long-winded. Maybe that's going on in some cases, but yeah, I don't know. I'll still check it out. At least, at the very least, Holly, it will give me a prompt to look and see if I can catch the thing he was doing then. Get them more information there. Yes, that's how I organise and understand the different types of entities. I quite like that actually, Kate, as a way of framing it, because I think it's very, very easy, isn't it, to bring and overlay our traits there, which probably wouldn't be fully appropriate there. Carl, I've experienced good and bad spirits. So yeah, does that sort of understanding work sort of for your experiences with them as a way to view, or do you view them slightly differently, Carl? Keep going for my water, and it's not there. Leanne, a little bell to ring for service. Every time I ring the bell, I get a slap. What do you think, Alan?
Follow us now, or I'm sending the mothership.
Of course you are, Alan. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, we want to actually explore the paranormal side of things a little bit more. I know I keep saying this because we did one stream very early on with a spirit box and the Estes method, and it was fun. But with my rule of no ghosts in the house, which I broke for that one-off stream there, it's very difficult to find it. Yeah, it was. I enjoyed doing it, and I would, and in fact, I have purchased equipment to do more things like that. I just haven't got any decent locations. So actually, here's a shout out. Does anybody know any suitable locations for a paranormal wander in Wiltshire? Places that are obviously accessible at night, and ideally not urbexing. Something like that, I think, would be... Yeah, I need some more locations as options of places to go to. Yeah, looked like a hostage, didn't she? Jack, thank you for the like. Appreciate those. It is those likes and those shares that helps us reach more and more like-minded people. And if you are just joining us, we're doing a live alien radio signal hunt today, having a bit of a chat whilst we're waiting for the action to kick off. But we are searching the stars, hoping to hear ET saying hello, searching on a frequency called the hydrogen line. That's the yellow line at the top of the screen, and the channel on the radio dial that scientists theorise we're most likely to hear the hello is anybody else out there message. And we've heard it a few times over the years, most notably in the late 1970s with the WOW signal. It's the best known candidate alien signal there, but there have been many, many more very interesting signals since then. And speaking of which, the frequency of those signals seems to be picking up. One that I learnt about recently was the Ross 128 signal. Now, I think it's going to be my new favourite because it was actually detected from a star, Ross 128, about 11 light years from us here on Earth. Now, our closest neighbour is just over 4 light years, maybe 4.5 light years, something like that from us. That's Proxima Centauri. So 11 light years is still pretty close. That is on our stellar street, one of our neighbours there. So, yeah, Ross 128, a red dwarf star. And what's interesting about the signals that may have been detected coming from there are that they repeated, they were technological, looking in nature, not an organic signal, and we know, and this is the real interesting bit here, that in orbit of that star there are a number of exoplanets, which is very interesting, but one of them at least is within the habitable zone, so we may have a suitable homeworld for a source of the signal. I wonder if our neighbours like us. Are we the noisy neighbour that's always having parties at the end of the street and is always parking and blocking all of the other parking spaces for residents? Is that us? We've got our radio signals are really loud again. Tell Earth to keep it down again. All of our signals are too loud, getting in their way. Exactly. I wonder if our planetary neighbours. Yeah. What do the Proxima Centauri folk? What do they make of us? Because that's the other one. Is it the BLC-1 from 2017 or was it 2018, 2019? Can never remember there. But there's a signal there from Proxima Centauri, our closest stellar neighbour. may well mean that there is a civilization on a planet in orbit of that star that's of a similar enough. They're either close to our technological advancement level, hence they can transmit in radio, or they have surpassed us. Now, there was also another scientist that was talking recently, and he's putting his work together to be put forward as a paper to be peer reviewed, but believes going through old telescope data, again, the same sort of period of time, that they detected a laser light coming from, I think it was Proxima Centauri again, which is very, very interesting, because if that is true, lasers are definitely technological. There's nothing in nature that mimics what a laser looks like, and also they're directional. So if they weren't pointing at us, we wouldn't have seen it. So they must know we're here. That's all sorts of interesting. That is. So if that turns out to be true, and again, that was on multiple occasions there, so maybe we've got some very active neighbours over on Proxima Centauri. Damo, hello, and thank you for the TikToks there, that's very kind. And it all goes back into the stream. I mean, sat there with telescopes, looking at us, shaking their heads. Those kids, they'll learn with their nuclear weapons. Carswell, it's like a mirror. When we pass, we are on the other side of the mirror looking in. Really? That does, it kind of brings us into the Stranger Things with the mirror universe there. That would be interesting. And Holly, well, we point lasers at us, but we do. And we're talking about, aren't we? Actually, this is the funny part, is we're actually talking about, we're putting, I think, is it Starshot, breakthrough Starshot or something like that. And what it is, they're getting funding at the minute to do our first interstellar probe. And again, Proxima Centauri, same star we're talking about here. They're sending basically very, very minute light sails. Like it'd be a whole cluster of them. They want to send them from here to Proxima Centauri. And the way they'll power them to keep the weight down is by shining a light on them, and pushing them with laser light there. That very slight heat from the light there will push them through the stellar medium is the idea there. So it'll be our first interstellar mission to that star. Wouldn't that be interesting if they went, oh, yep, yeah, it's very busy over here. They've figured it all out, guys. So maybe we'll be pointing a very big, bright laser to them at some point soon. Maybe there. And Brock, why do aliens always spill their cup of tea? Because they use a saucer. Why don't? Because they use a saucer. Hello, Brock. Remember, we're all limited by our own experiences. So this is my experience, and I should not in any way negate someone else's. That's very well put there, Kate. Very well put. But yes, we're all gonna be putting our understandings of whether it is the UFO alien phenomena or whether it's more the paranormal, or we do this in life as well. We are a product of our experiences for our education, for the peers that we've had there. So we're all making our best guess at these things, and sometimes they're counter what somebody else may say, but it doesn't negate it. It's just from somebody's experience there with it. It definitely happens a lot day to day, doesn't it, politically? All of the time. Oh, we're getting close to the end of the stream there. Another 3.5 minutes, guys. But we'll be back on tomorrow at about 9 p.m. UK time. Maybe it'll be clear. Unlikely. Probably going to be another SETI stream. Although, maybe the moon will be bright enough to poke through the clouds so we can do a moon watch. I hope so. But if not, we'll be doing this. Although Tuesday is looking potentially clear enough for a skywatch. Let's hope that the weather holds for that one. Yeah, things come to us in ways we can comprehend. Exactly. This is it. We don't necessarily see what the objective truth of a situation is, or even an event there. We pass it through the filters of understanding. So that's when we get a lot of different answers a lot of the times there. But there's many ways to slice an onion, as they say. So it's always worth considering that there are many different versions. It's going back to what we were saying earlier about language as well. We have these little structures, these little mechanisms of understanding in our heads, and that's also how we then view the world. If we don't have the correct version, we'll put it in our closest one and go, yeah, that'll do. So sometimes we can get it wrong there. Do you know how it was chucking down last night? I went out for a smoke and said, go away, rain. And the clouds like, and it had stopped. Can you do that Holly? Can you do that for us? for our next skywatch. What is it you sent over, Kate? It's that cloud busting tool. And there's a whole, apparently, this lost technology or suppressed technology, of making clouds disappear. I thought, I want some of that. Nice little hole in the cloud above my house would be perfect. Above Wiltshire, we see all the activity going on. I get rid of clouds so many times by saying it, man. How do you think that happens? Because I want that. I want that to happen. It'd be a very useful skill for us. The cloud bust, definitely, Kate. Then you get the telescope. Yes, for a similar use case. I don't know. It's magic. Which? Yeah. The amount of frustrating times we've had. Last night was a right pain. Fighting the clouds constantly. So some sort of cloud busting technology would be pretty useful, especially over the winter months here. Although before we know it, we'll be back into summer, won't we, guys? We'll be doing this until 2 a.m. there. And witness, how are we doing tonight? Have we ended it? Not yet, not tonight, but make sure you're subscribed over there, because we should be on again tomorrow. And then Tuesday we basically do something every night, and a lot of the time, if we're not doing this, if it's cloudy, we do this, the alien radio signal hunt. If it's not cloudy, we do this, which is a live UFO, UAP, a skywatch, or a live moon watch if the moon is up. So tomorrow might be a moon watch, actually. Still the creators of the details talk about how weird it is, but we are based in Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of crop circle country. So these are the skies to watch. Someone's going to have to get one to see if it works. Alan, can you do it? I imagine there probably is some sort of quirky website where we could order a cloudbuster. Oh my god, Holly, I'm only just realising this now. I never paid attention to the weather beforehand. Like, oh, it's raining today, I need a brolly, I won't go out. But actually looking to try and understand it, to what it means. Is it going to be clear? Is it not? I'm learning so much about it, and mostly that it's freezing. And oh my god, yeah, it's clear sky, cold, absolutely cold. Like, I bring in, and the camera has ice on it. On those ones, let's actually have a look. Can we buy? Is there a crazy person selling cloud busting tools? Oh, I'm typing into the wrong screen here. That's why. Where is it? Where's my no? Too many buttons. Oh my god, wrong keyboard. What? Who am I typing to? Sorry, multiple computers at once here. Okay, you can buy them. But they are not there. They're a few £100 and it's just a bit of copper pipe. I'll make one of those. Oh yeah, keep a lookout for TikTok shop there. We're going to be selling Allen branded cloudbusters. Rip the copper out of the walls. Actually, we can combine it, couldn't we? We could combine it with a paranormal urbexing. Well, also acquire some copper for an abandoned house, and then turn it into a craft stream where we're making cloudbusters. Watching you outside last freezing. Oh, it was cold. It didn't even warm me up though. It's the minerals that do it there, not just the copper pipes. Well, minerals we can order. That's the easy bit. And I mean, if the rest of it's just copper pipe, I'm going to look into this. We're going to do it. The neighbours are going to think I'm absolutely lost it, but if we have clear skies. Would you trust Alan's ego if it worked that? Or, yeah, if Alan got it right, would that be even more unsettling to me there? Would that be, yeah, I don't know how that would work. Anyway, guys, I'm going to come off for the night now. And, what do you get if you cross a weeping willow with a UFO? A crying saucer. 10 points, Carl, for that one. Very good there. Right, yeah, I'm coming off for the night now, guys. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for your awesome questions and conversation and a little bit of knowledge there. You guys are legends as always. Thank you for liking, sharing, and helping us build up a little community. Mods too. Well, thank you, keeping it all wonderful there. And yeah, we'll be on tomorrow about 9 p.m. UK time. Hopefully it's something visual, but if not, we'll be here. We'll be doing this. Yes, we'll catch you all for that. Again, thank you for gifters and subbers and Patreons as well. Do appreciate your help. They're helping us improve the stream and that. But yeah, you guys are legends, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Bye bye, guys. YouTube and Twitch, you get me for that.